Hello and welcome to the Strategic Bookkeeper podcast. This episode is part 3 of a series I'm doing on mistakes and misconceptions that bookkeepers are making. So if you haven't listened to 1 and 2, I highly recommend that you do. And now let's get stuck into more of this journey around the mistakes and misconceptions that could be absolutely holding you back from fast tracking your success in your bookkeeping practice to build a thriving practice, delight your clients, and ultimately live your dream on your terms. I'm Jeannie Savage, the Strategic Bookkeeper. I've been in practice for 14 years, but more importantly, 5 years in, I achieved a lifestyle practice. This means I scaled my business, could take my hands off the wheel, and draw a nice 6-figure income while being time rich. And that's what I call my dream on my terms. I was recently awarded Women in Finance Innovator of the Year, recognizing my book, my podcast, my program, and my impact globally. The Strategic Bookkeeper is my life's work, and the opportunity to help bookkeepers globally achieve the income and lifestyle that sets them free absolutely fills my cup. Please do connect with me on socials at the Strategic Bookkeepers Way private Facebook group, or shoot me an email, hello@thestrategicbookkeeper.global. Okay, so diving into the next problem, I'd like to just quickly recap. Before I do that, I'll let you know if you can hear any background noise. My son is doing distance education from the kitchen. He's normally upstairs in a little workspace, but due to construction, he can't be there. And as environment absolutely does help dictate success, as soon as I put him in his room, which is more his fun zone, things went pretty pear-shaped with distance education. And so I've got him in the kitchen so I can more closely monitor him. But I'm sure the background noise won't be too bad. But if you do hear it, that's what that's all about. So now, diving into the next mistake you might be making, I just want to recap a little bit. So at the first of this series of podcasts, I talked about your ability to find, onboard, and retain clients without price as a priority. Okay. I talked about that being like the emerald that Indiana Jones was just relentlessly going after. It was life or death because it's the elixir of your practice. Okay. I talked about the email that I'd received from a bookkeeper in the community who's not in the transformation program, and how I knew when I read her email that she was the busy bookkeeper, not the thriving bookkeeper. And since then, when she, with an open heart and an open mind, told me about what she's doing and what she's going to do next, I absolutely can see the fuck up years that she probably has ahead of her that I had ahead of me. Yeah. And the reason that I built out the transformation program. Okay. And it really got me thinking, literally 10:30 at night in bed last night. Not the best time to think, but it got me thinking about the mistakes and the misconceptions and what holds bookkeepers back. Okay. So in the last 2 episodes, we covered off employee mindset versus entrepreneur mindset, and we really covered off work smarter, not harder. But as we covered those things off, we absolutely dived into the need to have a smart strategic pricing strategy with outcome billing, with productized services, with minimum charge out rates and more. And that's absolutely on my list as a mistake, okay? But I'm not going to dive into that one anymore. I feel like we covered it enough, okay? If you need a lot more help with that, come into my program, or you can buy our Pricing Academy or subscribe to our Pricing Academy, and that will help you with that as well. But as I've said in previous podcasts, you've got other podcasts on this subject too, okay? So the next mistake that I want to dive into is relevant to a few parts of the mind map and a few things in general, so I'm going to bundle them in. So I'm thinking back to the beginning of my journey, and what I'm thinking about is conversion of a prospective client into a client, okay? Little own the ability to continue to solve problems for your VIPs. I mean, that is transformational. That is kind of where I started with the Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program. I started with a passion around that because when I found out how to do that, it just was mind-blowing and transformational for my practice, yeah? So let's talk a little bit of conversion as it relates to converting PCs into VIPs and also VIPs upgrading into allowing you to help them solve more problems. And as we dive into the mistakes there, it's really about the customer journey, your product ladder, and the conversion process. These are the three parts that I want to focus on to help you identify the mistakes that you could be making, okay? So if you're anything like I was way back when, during my fuck up years, you may think that podcast interruption on the 22nd of March, the transformation program will change. So if you want to build a six-figure income as well as time wealth, now is the time to join. Our currency will move exclusively to US dollars, meaning it will be $99 per week US dollars. Foundation member specials will completely finish, okay? And Evergreen will finish too, meaning the doors will close and I will only open the doors 3 times a year, okay? So 3 big changes. So back yourself and go for it, and you can find out more by listening to episode 47. You may think that when somebody needs bookkeeping services, the way it works is they need someone, they find out about you, and then they're like, yay, I want to work with you or solve my problem. Okay, and that's definitely a misconception that's going to hold you back. So understanding the customer journey or lack of understanding is a mistake that bookkeepers make. It's a mistake that I made. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit of how it works. And if any of this is foreign to you and you're not doing any of it, well, that's the mistake you're making in terms of your ability to find on board and retain clients without price as a priority. Or put it another way, in context of the mistakes and misconceptions we're discussing here, your ability to onboard a PC from being a PC, a prospective client, to being a client and then a VIP client, your ability to easily help them make a decision to work with you regardless of your fee structure, is what we're talking about here. And if it's a VIP, it's your ability to help the VIP to self-assess their need for you to go beyond basic bookkeeping and help them more, okay? So thinking about how you do these things, let's dive into that a little. And to help you with that, I'm going to tell you a real life story of one of our tribe members who very, very recently joined the tribe. And when she joined the tribe, she'd already engaged a marketing person. So she'd agreed on a fee for service and she was in that, which she said she wouldn't have done had she have found the strategic bookkeeper, because ultimately we are your sales and marketing machine. You absolutely can do things outside of working with us. That would usually be in consultation with us just to make sure we help you get the best bang for buck. So this bookkeeper was running Facebook ads and she was actually managing to get leads, but she was not managing to convert those leads into clients. So if she got 10 leads and she spoke to 10 people, she got 3 or less convert, okay? Whereas your conversion rate should be more like 7 out of 10. The other thing is she was doing a lot of hard work during the needs analysis stage. So, for 10 prospective clients, that's a lot of time out of your week. I mean, that could easily be 10 hours or more. By the time you speak to them, you showcase your value, you do the conversion process, you send them a proposal, you follow up and more. That could be 10 to 20 hours, especially the way that this bookkeeper was doing it. Okay, so the audience attraction strategy was working, and that is she was able to find an audience, but the conversion of that audience into clients was not happening. And there can be many reasons for that, okay, because the front end brand marketing and selling of your business is like a Picasso. For me, it's like throwing paint on a canvas. It's quite complex and multifaceted, and it's always changing, okay? So age-old principles often don't change, but the way we apply them does. For example, my tribe was asking me about sending a newsletter. I can tell you right now, never, ever, ever should you be sending a newsletter out. They are dead. They are redundant. They'll do your brand more damage than good. However, the age-old marketing principle of keep in touch Okay, so keep in touch marketing is a phrase that I've coined. I call it what's in your marketing kit. So keeping in touch with your clients is rock solid, but how we do it has vastly changed. Okay, so whereas the back end of your business, black and white and linear, okay? One of my team is stepping up to completely handle implementation of back end for our bookkeepers, because honestly, that is more black and white and linear and easier for me to delegate. When it comes to the brand sales and marketing, or brand marketing and selling, put better, I am still fully and wholly in charge of that, because the acumen and R&D and everything that is required around that is so much more, because there's so many more moving parts and so much more changes, okay? So going back to that bookkeeper and what we're talking about there today, one of the main reasons that it wasn't working, and I was having one of our amazing high achievers coach with me on that day, and she completely concurred. So these leads were coming through these Facebook ads, but they hadn't gone through the customer journey. When you are able to find an audience, whether it's at a networking event, whether it's through Facebook advertising, no matter what that audience is, that is your client attraction strategy. So that's your audience strategy, yeah? But you then need to be able to help that audience to self-assess their demand and desire to work with you. You need to help them to go through the 3 parts of the buying decision, which is relationship, convenience, and price. And that is your ability to give them a customer journey to go through. And these days, something that is so incredibly powerful to learn is that when you try to sell to people, that will usually make them run for the hills, okay? So think about yourself. Do you like to be sold to? Yeah? Or do you like to be helped and served and given information so that you can self-assess your own demand and desire and needs to buy that product or service? It is the latter. It's also known as the death of marketing and the rise of PR, which has been happening forever. But that death of marketing and rise of PR is getting greater and greater and greater and greater and greater and greater and greater. And I mean every single day. Okay. So the mistake that you may be making in trying to convert audience into clients and scratching your head wondering why you're not converting a high percentage of them into high value. Once again, if you're serving up low cost products, sometimes that might increase your conversion, but you're going to build a broken practice with low profit and low time wealth, right? So basically the mistake is not understanding the customer journey and not having collateral in place, being a brand and brand assets, primarily a digital ecosystem, along with collateral, and funneling your audience into the customer journey with a product ladder so that they can do the 7-11 4, okay, spend average of 7 hours across 11 touch points and 4 platforms. And I've done other podcasts on that. In the next episode, I think I'll get into how brand influences this, okay, and the mistakes around that. But in this episode, I'm going to stick to that conversion process and the product ladder and the customer journey, just to keep it narrowly focused, okay? So look out for the next episode as well, okay? So if you're making that mistake and you're not understanding how to give someone a perfect, robust customer journey to go through so that when they call you, they are educated and informed, ready to onboard without price priority, that is the first mistake. So listen to the podcast on the customer journey. In the transformation program, it's the second module in the main kind of area of our program to do with front end. And I say to the bookkeepers, the tribe members, print it out, put it under your pillow. And honestly, the bookkeepers, when they see my customer journey, which I personally created for bookkeepers, they are just blown away. They are mind blown. And it's a central part or a central thing that we are always coming back to, okay? So to illustrate the rest, I'll try and share some real life stories. So I might share a little bit of what I know about, say, one of Deb's stories. We had Deb on the podcast recently. So something she says to me, which I love, is she wakes up in the morning to find prospective clients have booked into her diary to do a needs analysis with her, or what we also call a results call. It's just amazing, right? Especially to me as a bookkeeper who's 52 years old, Deb's 59, we come from the old school pre-internet era. So all of this 24/7, stuff, even though I absolutely play in this space with mastery, it still dazzles the hell out of me, okay? So what happens with Deb, for example? So she has got all the things in place, bearing in mind that Deb joined my program about 6 months ago and she was at 0. And within 6 months, she is at hero, like can't keep up, recruiting a full-time bookkeeper. Oh my goodness, yeah. So Deb's got all the things in place. So what happens is she's found a really great little audience attraction strategy, which in her case, she's got quite a few at play, but one of them is a really great Facebook group where she pays a fee, which is quite reasonable, and she's able to generate audience there. Remembering your ability to generate audience does not translate into clients, okay? So she's able to find audience, but because she has got a product ladder in place, so in this case, she's got the collateral we give her in the program. So she's got the 7 Deadly Cash Flow Sins ebook. She's got an extraordinary video sales letter. She's got a business health check from us as well. And she's got a results call. So she's able to use this collateral along with all the other. So in your product ladder, and I've done other podcasts on this, you've got your content, your welcome lines, your core products, and then your succession products, okay? So through her content and her welcome lines being exactly what I said then, okay, so the health check, the 7 Deadly Cash Flow Sins book, the file health check, the results calls. So through those, she's able to actually have her audience have ways that they can digest her content and get to know, like, and trust her, build out relationship, convenience, and price, and then they can actually take action, book into her diary and a time to talk to her, and that might be about the results on their health check, for example, or it might be to discuss the 7 Deadly Cash Flow Sins. It could be anything, but you can see that she has a smart, strategic digital ecosystem and product ladder that allows her to strategically give her audience a place to go through the customer journey. So by the time they book in with her, they are already very much convinced that Deb can help them, okay? So then Deb jumps on the call, and let's say it's a health check, and the health check's great because the health check helps that audience member self-assess, where they're at, literally score themselves across a whole range of criteria in order to self-assess their need to actually do better in business, Deb being the one that's going to help them with that, because they're also made aware that pillar 1 for success in business is up-to-date, accurate bookkeeping, okay? And oftentimes not even that is sorted. So they get on to Deb and she does a 5 to 15-minute needs analysis, and that is a welcome line, okay? So your needs analysis in itself is a welcome line that allows your PCs and VIPs to feel and experience your value and go through the customer journey. She's then able to propose services, and Deb's going to propose another welcome line, okay? And then she's able to onboard far more clients. Usually 100% of the PCs that come through will onboard into that first conversion. And she has a conversion process, which I think one of the ways I like to say this, because the PC's been through the customer journey and they've learnt a lot, and then the conversion process kind of says it all again to some extent, but it says it in a structured way that also seeks to overcome objections, and her PC cannot press go fast enough. Now, once they have turned from a prospective client into a client and they've given her a small amount of money for a high value welcome line, then the second conversion, a client is 10 times more likely to buy than a prospective client, right? So then that new client converts into the next stage of the conversion with ease. And then they convert into the next stage of the conversion, which I show you 3 conversions in the transformation program, with ease, so that Deb's getting between 70 and 100% of her prospective clients convert. And those prospective clients, that's an automated passive client attraction funnel that has been set up with all these pieces of the puzzle in place. So rather than what we're going back to with the bookkeeper doing the Facebook ads and loses 10 to 20 hours trying to convert clients and getting a 30% ratio, Deb's converting close to 100%, and she's not even putting any more effort in because it's all set up strategically with the product ladder, so they can go through the customer journey, and then her conversion process is second to none in the world. I will absolutely tell you the conversion process I give you in this Strategic Bookkeeper Transformation Program is the absolute best in the world, okay? So she uses that and she's getting these incredible results, which is going to circle back to the working smarter, not harder, okay? So let's wrap it up with the mistakes that you may be making. The mistake you may be making is not really understanding that there even is a customer journey that your clients need to go through or your PCs need to go through in order to self-assess and build their need to work with you, right? And build demand and desire in order to influence relationship and convenience and price, in order to be far more likely to convert into a client, okay? The next mistake, if you only have core products, if you don't have a robust product ladder that contains content, welcome lines, core products, and succession products, your conversion rates are going to be much lower. So think about that new bookkeeper in the transformation program that I talked about that was converting as low as 3 out of 10. Your conversion process is going to be lower and you're going to end up competing on price, okay? I can tell you I can charge $1,000, $2,000 an hour for some of the stuff I do and still turn away clients, all right? So I know that's an ideology shift, but I'll come back to selling outcomes, not hours. You will not convert more clients by charging $1 or $2 or $3 less. If your conversion process is, as I say in my book, so read the conversion chapter of my book. If you haven't read my book, read it twice, I'll say it again. Don't be surprised by the results you don't get from the work that you don't put in. So just as I say in the conversion process of my book, you need the conversion process to be primarily about why, which is the benefit of bookkeeping, not the what, okay? Your conversion process absolutely must include what I call an integrity pack, or we call it the $1 Million Storybook brochure. It must include a smart video sales letter. It must include your ability to convey why, your competitive advantage, your unique selling proposition, and to overcome objections if you want to be able to onboard clients without price as a priority. Okay, my mother used to say, anyone can sell something for nothing. And it is true. You're going to be able to find and onboard clients if your strategy is that you're charging out less than what you need to run a successful practice. So that's the mistakes around customer journey, product ladder, and conversion process. In the next podcast, which will be part 4 of this series, I'm going to dive into a bit more around the mistakes around brand in terms of your action. I feel like I've given you action steps along the way in this podcast, like read the conversion chapter, listen to the episode on customer journey and more. So I will see you in the next episode. Okay, my friend, now it is time to take action. So what are you going to do with what you learned today? The way I see it, you've got 2 options. You can go it alone to try and save some money, or you can back yourself and go for it and join my tribe. And let me tell you, we are knocking it out of the ballpark. That's not a sales pitch. That is me serving you, dare I say, courageously. To find success, I 100% know you need the mechanics, which is like the keys to the kingdom, but you also need to get your mindset right and be super productive. And these are all things I help you with inside the program. I could go on about this forever because I really want this for you. Have a prosperous week, and I'll see you in the next episode.